Right, we want just to hear from our panelists, also to give them an opportunity to express their sincere, of course, sympathies and condolences for the families, especially in Kenya, that we lost 32 Kenyans and also the members in that particular flight that unfortunately went down in Ethiopia yesterday. Let me just also begin with Senator Samuel Pogisio, who was formerly also the chair of Kenya Civil Aviation Authority. He can give us an inkling on the whereabouts about also what we're getting or information coming to hand as far as the stability of the aircraft is concerned with the angle of attack. And this particular episode that was from the Boeing 737 not revealing information about the malfunctioning of that particular angle of attack. And if at all there was maybe a service advisory that was to be given, and that never really happened. So allow me to introduce our panelists this morning. We have Samuel Pogisio, who's a senator of West Pokot with us. I introduced to you earlier also nominated Senator Agnes Zani, also the Deputy General Secretary of ODM. We do have with us Senator Okongo Mogini, who's a senator of Nyamira. We do have with us also the chair of Kenya Global Alliance. This is Dr. Shemu Chodo. And we have also the member of Parliament from Daragwa. This is Honorable Jeremiah Kioni. Good morning, gentlemen and lady. Good morning. Thank you very much. Let's just begin and pick the brains of Samuel Pogisio. As a former chair of Kenya Civil Aviation Authority, of course, this is close to your heart as well. You've been in that airport. You've seen a lot of taxiing of Ethiopian, of course, airlines. But this one, after around 19 years, we can say, with the flights, safety record of Ethiopian Airlines being a sterling one, this is really a blow to them. Good morning.
Well, thank you. It's a dark moment for us, particularly in the aviation industry, but as much as that, also with the Kenyan and the world, because of the loss of the people through this accident. Well, let me take this early opportunities personally and also on behalf of the people I represent to send condolences to the Kenyans, the families of the Kenyans who perished, and also the other people, including the pilots and the crew. We know that an incident or accident, an aircraft or airline, whatever incident, any accident always is a big, big loss. And we just want to pray for Kenyans. 32 of them perished. And I just want to wish their families Godspeed and recovery. And that there is always an issue that we need to have people to help those families in recovery. And so mine is just to say that there will be a lot of speculations. As usual, when there's an accident, there will be a lot of speculations. People who think they're experts on the thing will give different views. They might even think it is the equipment failure. They might even suggest that it is maybe some kind of attack. They might even suggest something else. But there is a process for confirming all that, and just hope that people do not speculate too much. There are experts, and our KCA people and also our KQ people will be there, but there is experts in the Ministry of Transport who deal with investigations of accidents. And I'm hoping that they bring some of this into closure. It normally takes a long time, but I hope that maybe with modern equipment now and with knowledge that investigations can be faster so people can know what really happened. Otherwise, I know this is a very, very sad moment, and I hope that all leaders in this country, I hope, can drop whatever they're doing or talking and just focus on assisting the families to get their
Right.
The remains of their people and to bury them.
In regarding also maybe the what we saw earlier that has also been reported in the Daily Nation as far as the angle of attack is concerned, when we had the Lion Air jet really going down as well, that would have been a learning point from the Boeing headquarters. Why didn't they give a service bulletin that is mandatory, as they've all been doing, and other, of course, reputable aircraft manufacturers have been doing?
Yeah, well, I think that's what I'm saying, that these are very sensitive matters under investigation for sure. And this particular aircraft has carried people all this time safely. There has been incidents about the same type of aircrafts and the same make of aircrafts. But again, if we enter there, we're entering into a very, very, what do you call it? Almost, you'll be talking about discussing probably defects which we cannot be experts on. Mm-hmm. But I agree that this pilot, I told, did not have, according to the story, did not have enough time to even report what the issue is. But he wanted to be back, which means it was from the start.
So it means there was no enough maneuvering time as well.
There was not enough maneuvering
for them
time
to circle back to the airport.
Yeah, and maybe even may have sensed something before. But the way the things are done, of course, the pilot always goes early into the aircraft to check the captain and the co-pilot. But if it had just made flights before, which are safe, there would have been absolutely no reason to suspect that there would be something. So I do not want to speculate about technical things, but I just know that we have, the whole world now will be sending experts to that site and Boeing will be sending their own people to check. They'll be the first probably to be there. And also, of course, rival companies also will be there. And all these organizations that are related to aircraft safety, International Civil Aviation Organization, and of course our own KCAA will be there. We'll be sending engineers and will be sent there. Everybody now, including now the security people and of course from the ministry, as I said, there are people who are experts in investigating accidents. They know exactly the black box.
Does this really happen, upon the invite maybe of the Ethiopian government? Because that is their own jurisdiction. We know this was bound to come to Nairobi, but this is happening within their own jurisdiction. So who's the party that is entirely upon or on top maybe of an investigation?
Yeah, the Ethiopian government will take charge or lead investigators, but everyone is invited normally because it's...
They have to,
you have no monopoly
extend an invitation for, okay.
Yes. And it's almost instant. There is a way in which all CAs communicate internationally instantly. So it's not even going to require a lot of time.
Thank you.
It's open invitation, basically.
Dr. Zani.
Let me start by sending my condolences to all the families, members of families who lost dear ones, affected 157 from 33 different nationalities, 32 Kenyans. We've woken up to a horror. Dibal, we started this morning by recognizing the presence of God. Mm-hmm. And we said that, we don't know about our tomorrows and, having faith. And I think now more than ever before, these families really need to really condone and pray because that helps. But of course, we don't know what happens and what will happen at any particular time to anybody. It could be that your time is there. It could be a technical maybe fault that has happened. Clearly something went wrong, and this seems to be a technical issue because 2 minutes into the takeoff, already there was a problem. I think the pilot was trying to make his way back, and 4 minutes later, the plane had come down. And I think after this, we're going to see a lot of investigation about the Boeing, because I think, as you've said, this is the second accident, and then this whole issue of the new software that is meant to prevent stalling, but can systematically, for example, send a plane into fatal mode, I think will be the focus. Because I think when there is such a thing, it causes a lot of jittery feelings, especially about travel and about flights. And yes, it is flights are a part of our lives. We have to take them. We have to travel from one place to another. But I think such a moment really helps us to come back and assess. And I think really we need to get the best experts to come on board, not only for the Boeing, but for all other flights, to ensure that we have safety measures that have been put into flights, and to ensure that people can get from one place and to their destination safely over time. And I think for a long time this had been established, but I think clearly there seems to be a problem coming up there. So we condone with the families, and even as we do that, we ask for a serious analysis of what might have gone wrong and a serious addressing of the same, to avoid such an accident happening again, Dibal.
Thank you. Let's hear from Congo Mogini. Good morning.
Yes, Dibal, first is to join my two colleagues, to also pass my message of condolences to the families of the 157 people who were killed in that fatal crash. and also send messages of condolences to the people of Ethiopia who, other than just the families, have had this misfortune of having a plane that I think was barely 6 months old going down. It's a big tragedy, but we empathize with them, and we really hope that there would be thorough investigations to establish the cause of this crash. I think Ethiopian Airline is one of the fast expanding airlines in Africa, and it's one of the hubs that was really growing fast, posing a big challenge to the tigers in the Middle East. So we really hope that they will remain strong and they will come out of this stronger. But I think what is more crucial is what is emerging, that there could be some technical errors with the manufacturing of these 737 MAX Boeing. So we really hope that the manufacturers, the Boeing company itself, will step in and do serious investigations. And also, I think we need to be assured as potential customers that what we are seeing, that there was no proper information passed over to the pilots on the new system that was put in this new Boeing 737 is worrying. So I think as a safety measure going forward, all pilots who fly this plane, I think, need to be retrained by the Boeing, so that they are able to understand this new feature that was introduced to this flight. I think in a span of 1 year, having two planes fairly new coming down, I think it's something that should worry the industry, and it's something that should be of great concern to the manufacturers of these aircraft. But I condole with the families, and I hope that the government will step in to give the families the necessary support as they mourn their loved ones.
Thank you very much. Let's hear from Dr. Shemochuodo. This was a software malfunction, so to speak, from the Boeing. You're the software expert.
Debal, allow me also to join the colleagues and other leaders who have condoled the family, the relatives, families, and friends of the 157 who perished. It's a reminder of our mortality and humanity, that human life is just like a flower. You could disappear at any point as per God's will. It's very unfortunate in this regard. From our Kenya Diaspora Alliance networks, actually, among those who perished are 3. I'm tempted to make a correction that there are at least 33 Kenyans who died, because from our team in Calgary, Canada, there's also Derek Lugwi, who appears as Canadian, but is a dual citizen, so he's Kenyan as well. So that, I've checked among the list of the 32 Kenyans, he's not listed there. So at least I would say the accurate figure is at least 33 Kenyans. Maybe there are other dual citizens who are on this flight. Allow me also to empathize with the Ethiopian government and Ethiopian Airlines. Actually, a number of us, exactly a week ago, used this airline from Ethiopia. Recall when not here,
yes,
were in Ethiopia, used the same flight on Sunday.
The same flight, this particular flight that went down?
Yes, but although there is the morning flight, then there's the night flight. We came with a night flight on Sunday, but basically the same route. It's very unfortunate. There are some of these things that would happen that we have little control over, but as Mheshimiwa Omogeni is saying, when this happens within a span of 5 months, actually, not even a year, 5 months, 2 new aircrafts of the same make, obviously questions are raised. But again, as Mheshimiwa Pogisi was saying, it may be too early to give views. It's vital we allow the experts to check, and I'm sure the world has the best, and they will be assembling in Ethiopia to establish what may have happened. For now, I think we can only hope that everybody concerned will ensure that safety of the aviation sector is improved. Everybody tightens, because we need to restore confidence in this sector. We're going through very difficult times. May the good Lord comfort the concerned, the bereaved, and the families of the bereaved.
All right.
Thank you.
Let's also hear from Jamal Kioni.
Yes, thank you, Dibal. I want to join my colleagues in sending my condolences and those of the people of Daragwa to the families that have lost their loved ones. And as my colleagues have said, we need to get to know exactly what is happening. Certainly there is something amiss with this particular aircraft because we see the circumstances under which we've lost the 2 flights are the same. That of Indonesia came down 12 minutes after takeoff. This one took only 6 minutes before it came down. I don't want to say much, I don't want to speculate, but it is really sad. It's a big blow for us as Kenya. I think some of these persons may have been coming for the UN conference that is there. But again, we hope that the investigations will reveal the real causes of this and avert future disasters of this nature. Of concern, of course, is we want to encourage and perhaps thank the media. They were cautious and careful in the way they reported this particular incident. Though I have a real problem with the way the people have tried to dramatize this by, I don't know whether this is this is exactly what happened, or they were trying to make their paper look more attractive by trying to show us how the plane came down. You can see it took off and it's like the tail went in first. If you look at this, it may look an innocent thing, but for the affected family members, you start wondering where was your family member when this was happening. I think it's important that they don't dramatize. These are things that can be very traumatizing. Any small picture or photo has a huge implication, or it will impact heavily on those who lost their loved ones. They need to be very, very careful, every other person reporting on this. And remember, there are those who are really lost and feeling the loss. We may be looking at it as news, but others are really affected by this. But thank you.
Right, before we take a short break, I just want to run you by the list of the 32 Kenyans that have been listed in the Daily Nation. Dr. Shemochoro also informs us that this number could go up to 33 because one Kenyan who has a dual citizenship in Canada also was in that particular flight. But you have a full list of who perished on page 2 of the Daily Nation today. Maybe I should just begin by showing the faces first of all. This is some of the faces, some of the victims that so far have been identified. We have here Jonathan Six, who was the CEO of Tamarind Group. Also we have Hussein Swaleh of CAF, who is a CAF official. Also Isaac Mwangi, Juliet Otieno, Agnes Gadumbi, Cosmas Ragoni, Anthony Ngari, Florence Wangari, George Kabugi. Now here is a list of the 32 victims, and if you've been wondering who are inside this particular, who are the Kenyans inside the plane that crashed yesterday in Ethiopia, we have Kamau Jen Njeri, also we have Mwangi Isaac Minai, Konorska Stels Osebe, Kariuki Grace Murugi, Mohamed Sitabdala, Gadumbi Agnes Mary Wangari, Yongi Florence Wangari, Gageshe George Mukua, Karanja Caroline N, Juguna Ryan Joroge, Abdullah Ibrahim Mohammed, Karanja Ann Awangui, Mutua Bernard, Jaboma Isabella Bali Achie, Mwashi Julia, Birundu Ann Mugoi, Ndivo Masi Ngami, Ebewele Helen Waithira, Asivugwa Cedric, Kabau George, Hussein Swaleh Mtetu, Mwazo Jared Babu, Odero Immaculate Cheng, Waithaka Joseph, Oteno Juliet Murundu, Ngari Anthony Wanjohi, also 6 Jonathan that you saw his picture, Lahoti Vaibhav, Mosioki Ann Mokoi, Gathu Benson Maina, Kipngetich Rugoni, and Kafugi George Ikonyo. And also, if Dr. Shemocholo can just remind us the name of the 33 or the 33rd Kenyan that had actually perished on this particular tragedy that happened yesterday. Just
Derek Lugi.
Derek?
Actually, Kenyans in Calgary are watching this and they're saying they appreciate the condolences to the family of Derek Lugui.
Derek Lugui.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And Derek Lugui also could be added to this particular list, which will tick it up to 33 Kenyans who perished in that particular tragedy yesterday in Ethiopia. We still send our deepest sympathies and sincere condolences to the families that have been affected. If you've read any name here that you may be aware of and the family are actually struggling to get information, this will be a handy opportunity for that. But we're given to understand that all the family members have been contacted, and if you're waking up to that shocking news this morning also, we want to send our deepest sympathy and sincere condolences here from NTV. We take a short break right now. When we circle back from the station break, we of course look at the politics of the week that has been and any information that will be coming to hand as far as this is concerned. Also, we'll be relaying that to you. So don't go away. Much more coming up on the other side of the break. Remember also, you can head over to a Twitter handle, which is AM Live NTV. AM Live NTV is our profile name on Facebook, and 20686 our SMS portal. So let's get also talking on that, sending our deepest sympathies and condolences as well on that platform. Don't go away.